Hello, friends. It's your girl, Anna Loves, and welcome back to Creepy Corner Story Time. So, today I'm going to tell you a story that I call the babysitter story. So, this girl was telling me about a time that she was babysitting her two cousins. Her cousins were the two that are involved in the story were about 10 years old at the time. There were two other kids that she was babysitting that were toddlers. So, it was late at night. She had already put the toddlers to bed. The two 10-year-olds were up watching TV. So she wasn't expecting their parents back until the next day. She was staying overnight with the kids, and she decided that she was going to take a bath. So she ran her a nice hot bath. She got in, she got all soaked up and relaxed and put her head back. When she said, she started to feel very, very uncomfortable. I don't know if you guys have ever had that feeling. I definitely have, where I was taking a shower and then all of a sudden I felt like really like weirded out, like eyes were watching me or somebody was standing in there with me and I was by myself. Well, that's the feeling that she got. And so she got out of the tub and she put her robe on and she went out. She said that whenever she went in to take her bath, that the boys were sitting like this. And when she went back out, they were sitting together like this. So she asked them, hey, what's going on? Why are you guys sitting so close together? And they kind of looked around at her and they looked scared to death. So she said, okay, what's going on? Like, I know something's going on. She was like, I feel weird. And, what is it? And so the boys said, so let me set up the scene for you. The living room is here in the middle. The room where the kids were asleep is over here. The kitchen is on the opposite side. So they said that while they were sitting there watching TV, they heard one of the toddlers' toys go off. It was like a little music box that you wind up and it would play music. And so they thought that one of the toddlers was awake. So they got up and they went over to the room where the kids were and they looked. They didn't hear anything. So they kind of looked around, the kids were still asleep, and they heard the music again. And this time, it was coming from the kitchen. So they both went to the kitchen. They didn't hear anything, they didn't see anything. And they heard it again, coming back from the kids' room. So they walked over to the kids' room. And they heard it from the kitchen. So they decided, you know what? We're going to split up. You go to the kitchen, you go to the kids' room, and we'll see where we hear it. So they split up, and they heard it in both places. So this is where they panicked. And that's why whenever she came out of the bath and saw them sitting in the living room, they were sitting like this because they were terrified. Because first they heard it from one side, then they heard it from the other, then they heard it from both. So at this point, she was like, okay, yeah, something is definitely funky. She didn't want to wake the little kids up, though. So she said, you know what? We're all just going to get down on our knees and we're just going to pray that this goes away. Because her understanding of how spirits work was like the same as I've heard. That spirits, they can pass through homes and they're not all good. So they got down and they started praying really hard and they prayed really hard until finally it just went away. So basically, she kept to the feeling that it was a bad spirit that had been passing through and decided to stay in there and mess with those two kids because they were by themselves in the room. And when they prayed, plus they prayed it away because then it never came back and that it never happened again. So what do you guys think of that story? You think it was something just passing through? You think the kids were being mischievous and watching something they weren't supposed to? Has anything like this ever happened to you? I've definitely heard like random things. I always chop it up to maybe it's just, I'm imagining things, or it had to be something else. The cat, the hearing like knocking on the window could be like a bush rubbing against the glass. But I don't know. Do you guys explain away things like this, or has anything like this ever happened to you? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.